I'm JanaehaDinkel. This is my second year interning for Etta Walker at her law office. Something that I have to work around with this presentation is confidentiality. So in the legal field, there's attorney-client privilege, so I can't really talk about a lot of what I worked on and what I did. So it's going to be kind of general and vague. So the biggest thing I did this summer was working on the file closing project, which I did last summer as well. My favorite part of that is just reviewing all the files because I get to read through all those stories. Most of the cases that she works with are criminal cases, divorce cases, and then estate planning. She does kind of everything because it's a solo firm in a small town, but those are the main things she works on. Then after I go through all of the cases, I draft a termination letter. So I give them a notice of the date that the case was closed and the date that it will be destroyed, which is 10 years from the closing date or after all minor children involved have turned 18. And then the letter also asks if they want their file copied and sent to them or if they just want it destroyed. And then I enter all that information into an index so that she has all that in one location. Another thing that I did was I went to the Kansas Women Attorneys Association conference, and there I got to go to a lot of different sessions on different topics. So these are some of the ones that I went to. My favorite two were the 2023 legislative recap and the Rural Justice Initiative sessions. So for the 2023 legislative recap, they talked about all the different bills that have gone through the legislature in the last year. And while most of them are very serious topics like the foster care, fairness in women's sports, voting bills, and firearm safety, there are some more fun ones. Like this year they designated a Kansas state land fossil, which looks like that. And then the Rural Justice Initiative is a new committee that was established in December. Right now they're just collecting data and learning about the legal needs in all of Kansas, in rural Kansas. So the Kansas population distribution, about 43% of Kansans live in the rural areas, but only 20% of attorneys are practicing in those areas. So for urban Kansas, there are about 2 active attorneys for every 535 residents, but for rural Kansas, that's over triple. Another issue is the median age of attorneys in rural areas. For the rural areas, the average age is 14 years higher than in the Kansas urban areas. So the duties of the committee, they're going to be collecting information and studying the trends in rural counties, as well as studying different programs that are already in place in our state and in other states to bring more legal resources to rural Kansans. And they're going to identify some strategies that we can use to help rural Kansans who need legal resources. So this initiative was established in December of 2023, and by June 1st, 2024, the committee will deliver their initial recommendations to the Supreme Court. And I found this really interesting because I see the amount of work that Etta has to do to make up for the struggles that rural Kansans have, and so I think this is a really important initiative that I'm glad that I learned about. Thank you to Nex-Gen and to Etta for giving me this opportunity.
So I have a couple questions for you. So earlier when Jackie was asking you kind of like your plans afterwards, you mentioned that like maybe working for Etta was kind of like maybe on the table. What about Etta and her like law firm and her practice would make you want to stay? Because she's a pretty incredible woman, but just what have you experienced? Why would you want to return potentially?
Etta is really good about helping her young interns want to learn and providing us with the things we're interested in.